If your trailer brakes aren't working or you get that favorite message that says trailer disconnect, before you go out and replace these, just stop. Non-working trailer brakes are completely aggravating, let's just be honest. It makes you want to take a hammer to them, especially if you're getting that message on the dash that says trailer connected, trailer disconnected, and all that garbage. It is super aggravating. Herein lies the problem. Many times if we're going to DIY it, or if you're going to take it in, or if you're going to buy some parts, we'll start replacing components before we truly diagnose the problem. And when we do that, we're just a parts changer, and we potentially are going to waste money and replace something that doesn't need to be replaced. There's one component on your trailer that's associated with the braking system, but absolutely has nothing to do, let me repeat, it has nothing to do with your daily towing brake function on the trailer, and that is the breakaway battery, or the breakaway battery system, which would include the battery, the onboard charging system, and the breakaway switch. One way to know that is the way that it's spelled. It says breakaway, like break up, like that high school girlfriend that was way out of your league that kicks you to the curb. You know, it hurts your heart. This may hurt your heart, but this has nothing to do with your day-to-day function. This is for a breakaway. If you're in an accident or you forgot to attach your coupler and it becomes broken away from the tow vehicle, this has a safety switch on it that will engage. Utilize this 12-volt battery to apply voltage to the brakes to slow that trailer down so that it doesn't cause further damage or go into oncoming traffic. So if your trailer brakes are not working, I can promise you this is not the cause. So don't go out and replace the battery right away. Don't put a new breakaway system on it right away. Not to say that you don't need one. Your battery may be deader than a doornail, but it has nothing to do with getting your brakes stopping and getting you back on the road. When it comes to your trailer brake components and the components that operate the trailer brakes, there are a few components that you need to know what they are and how they work. You have your trailer brake control that's going to be in your tow vehicle, the plug that is on your tow vehicle, then the plug that is on your trailer. You do have the breakaway battery system for emergency cases. You have your brake wire, you have multiple connections, the brake assembly, which is here, and then your brake drum. So all of those have to be in good working order, with the exception of the breakaway system for your day-to-day functions of your breakaway switch. So one thing you can go out and buy if you don't already have it, that you're not going to waste any money on, and it's not that expensive, are just a few test components. Just a basic 12-volt test light. We'll leave a link in the description to these so you can go out and find those if you don't already have one. This is just a, you know, when I grew up, this is called a dummy light. So you lights up if you have power, but it doesn't tell you any type of voltage. This one here is maybe a smarter one. It will tell you voltage. I don't know if the camera can see that or not. It'll tell you how much voltage you're getting. So on some vehicles, you can test the truck plug with the brake control on the manual setting or off the foot pedal to make sure that it's supplying power to the trailer being towed. But not all vehicles. The other thing that you can purchase is pretty handy. It's just a small pocket screwdriver. I would get one in a flathead and a Phillips, depending on the brand of plug that you have. And maybe this, if you have a 7-way, it's good to have one of these extra laying around. Now, if you have a molded plug on there, it's going to be harder to test without piercing the insulation. Really the only way you can look is just to see if you have corrosion or if you have one of the terminals that's broken in the plug. If you're gonna go ahead and replace something before you know exactly what's going on, if your plug is in bad shape, I don't have any problem going and replacing that. It's gonna have to have it anyways. You might as well get that out of the way, go and replace it, whether that's your full molded plug that we'll leave the description link below, or just a replaceable plug like this that you can open up and check. If you do have a plug that you can disassemble like this one, if the outside looks okay, it never hurts just to open it up and check it on the back side to make sure your wire hasn't pulled out. Many times we'll grab the cord to unplug it, or a goat or a cow will grab the cord and unplug it for us, or you may have a straggler wire that's going in there that's causing you a shorting issue. So check that out. start with there and start with the power supplied from the vehicle. If you determine those are all working great, then there is something in the trailer that's wrong. Another thing that you can check, and it's good to have some of these, some type of connection for the wiring. These do fail, or you may run over some type of debris in the highway and you break one loose. This is a Scotch lock style connector. This is a larger one. I just chose this one so it's easier to see in the camera. I'm not a big fan of these. We only use these for temporary use. This is a heat shrink style here. Not all these are created equal. This is going to be better than this, but regardless, either one of them could fail or be damaged. If you're not getting any power to the brake magnet, then nothing is going to work. So you really need to kind of look at, kind of start at the front and work your way to the back to determine if you have an issue. If everything's working good until you get to the brake assembly, then you're going to have to dive a little deeper. You may have to go internal, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So once you've determined everything is working good up to the backing plate where the two wires are coming out, and you're going to have two wires. They may look different. Your backing plate may look different depending on manufacturer and age of the unit. But you have two wires that are not polarity sensitive. On these two wires, if you engage the brakes, and if you test this at the connection, or if you pierce the wire, whatever you want to do, and yes, I know if you pierce the wire, you may introduce moisture and all that stuff. So if you want to beat that up in the comments and have nothing else better to do, go right ahead. On these, with power being supplied to this, only one side should be hot. So if you, and it could be either or. So if you check one of these and only one is hot, the other one shows no power, you're good. If both of these show power, then there's a short. Very good chance it's going to be the magnet, but it could be just in the wiring itself. So once you've determined whether there is a short or not a short, is going to determine how much farther you go. If these seem to be good, if you have one that's lit up, one that's not lit up, but you still have no brakes, there still may be something wrong on the inside. In brake assemblies, especially if you're buying some type of import, they have gotten less expensive over the years. They're not the hardest to change, but we do see this mistake from DIYers, even from some shops, and not every shop's going to do this. There are some great shops out there. You just have to do your homework and find you a good shop to go to. There's not one shop that does the greatest work, so if they have that attitude, you may want to go on somewhere else, but there's some good qualified people out there that can get you back up and going. But many times we'll open the drum, we'll set that bad boy to the side, and we'll look at this and say, yeah, my magnet is burned up because I've been over braking due to lack of brake adjustment. If you don't know how to adjust your brakes, that may be your issue, and we will leave a link in the description below to our trailer brake adjusting video that will help you out on that. These are non-self-adjusting brakes. You're gonna have to do a manual adjustment. Self-adjusters will help if everything's working great, but you may still need to do a manual adjustment on those as well. So be sure to check out the link and watch that video, so make sure that you're up to par on your brake adjustment. So if we put this on new, we have good wire. We've even replaced the breakaway battery. We replaced everything. We put it all back together, and we still have no brakes. What can it be? Well, one thing, these brakes are not burnished in, so that could be part of the issue, but I see this every day, all day. What happens is many times we will replace this, because it's not that hard. It's, it's going to be either 4-bolt, 5-bolt, 7-bolt. Not that big of a deal to replace it. Hook up 2 connectors, 2 wires. Recommend using some type of heat shrink connection on that. Then we just put our original drum back on. This is a new drum. This is a 12-inch drum. 6 lug, 6K Dexter axle. This one looks pretty. You can see all the machining in there. What happens over time, many times from over braking, from lack of adjustment, the brake magnet will wear down the surface and it will be grooved. It will be glassed over. It'll be superheated. Sometimes it's even blue and rainbow colors. If it's to that point, you need to replace the drum. If you can see the chamfer in this, some manufacturers you can see better than others. If you can't see a chamfer, there's a chance that it may be worn beyond its limit, or if it's got a huge ridge in this area, this right here is worn on the back side of this where the brake shoe itself is really eaten in there. It's going to be trashed. This is a 12-inch drum. The maximum bore on this is a question we get all the time, can I turn my drums? In a perfect world, you can turn them 99% of the time from what I see. they're worn so bad there's nothing left to turn. You can always take material off, but you can't put it back on. The maximum bore on this drum is 12.09 inches. So there's not a lot there to machine off. If you have somebody that's capable of turning them and there's enough material, more power to you. Go ahead and get them turned. You may just want to price a replacement drum compared to turning it, just to see whether you're buying a pre-packed setup, whatever have you. But just don't go start throwing parts at it. You know, if you put this in a used drum that's worn out, the first thing it's going to wear out is the magnet. It's going to groove this magnet because it's going to try to match the flat plane that's not there of the brake drum. So it's going to match the grooving. It's going to be all hilly, and it's going to get hot, and it's likely going to start melting, short the magnet out, and even the brake shoes too. These brake shoes are going to be a completely different wear pattern than what's on here. These are nice and smooth. They're going to wear irregularly. They can overheat in such a manner that you cause delamination on the shoe. It could come loose, bind with the other shoe, and cause catastrophic failure at that point. So if you got to start replacing components, you know, a lot of times that's what it is. It needs brakes and it needs a drum. I rarely ever replace a brake assembly without replacing the drum, with the exception of over greasing. If you're using some type of easy loop setup, bearing buddy, something like that, and you pump grease until it fills all this up, a lot of times it will encase this whole assembly in grease, and the brakes don't work at all, so it ruins the brake and you have no braking. But the drum is actually, it's okay, it's encased in grease and it needs to be cleaned, washed out, maybe resurfaced. But you can salvage the drum. But that's really the exception. That most of the times these need to be replaced in a pair. So just remember, the Breakaway never needs to be replaced for your day-to-day operations of your trailer brakes working. It, however, does need to be replaced if it's not functioning. It is a safety requirement that's required by federal law with an electric trailer braking system or electric over hydraulic trailer braking system. It needs to match whatever. There are a couple different ones depending if you're using electric over hydraulic, so make sure you get the right amp hour battery when doing so. This needs to function. Breakaway switch needs to function. If you're a CDL operator and this does not function, it can get you a pretty good sized ticket, and many times will get you shut down. But just don't go out and buy it just because it's, if you have trailer braking issues when you started the day out and you replace that, you're still going to have trailer braking issues at the end of the day. You're just going to have a new battery to go along with it. So make sure you check all your components out. Make sure you understand how to do your brake adjustments, how to understand how to look at these. We'll leave a couple videos in the description below that will go in depth in those operations. And just make sure you're doing your regular maintenance. Make sure you tighten your lug nuts, and we will see you down the road.